Hey, thank you, Aditya, and it's been a pleasure hosting this session. And really, it's my privilege to connect with all you guys. Good evening, everyone, and I'm I know like we're all going through a very tough situation worldwide. It's been a worldwide phenomena. We're all locked down with all this virus and all that. But it is overwhelming to see the response for this session and the work that IEEE is doing in conducting the sessions, connecting with people, and mentoring the people. I think it's the core motto of like learning cannot be stopped no matter what. I think IEEE is standing towards that, and it's been a great honor to be part of this group and really talk to you, all of you today through this medium. And it is interesting to note like a session of this sort with so many people, if it have been physically to be hosted, I don't know how much of man hours it will take. But it's been a wonderful team like Aditya and his team who has basically coordinated through and make it look like very simple. Okay. So with that, I'll try to make sure like your time is worth spent today uh, in talking about AI and also a kind of a systematic framework which is called Seven Steps to Enable AI with you and and then hear your thoughts as well. So is everybody the voice and everything is clear or any hiccups there? Aditya, you're able to hear me clearly?
Surendra, it's perfect. Actually, we are able to hear quite well. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Okay. So let me first ask a question. What is AI? When you ask this question, there are like different definitions to that. Some call it as artificial intelligence. Some could call as augmented intelligence or a robotics, or it's an augmented reality or a machine learning. And if if you ask well, which one is the right or wrong, there is nothing like right or wrong in the definition. Every definition or every title towards what is AI is correct in its own place, in its own context, and how you are approaching this. And when you actually wanted to introduce AI, and when you talk to different people in the different industry, you might encounter different definitions. But let me make it very simple for every one of you by giving you a simple equation. Okay? So fundamental core blocks of an artificial intelligence start with three things to start with. One is basically collection of the data. Data could be coming from various modes, be it in case of weather prediction, it could be coming from weather stations. If you wanted to predict your demand forecast or your monthly expenses, it could be a shopping list, which is key data at a household level. If you are tracking banking transactions, so it is a financial information that is data. So data is everywhere. We are surrounded by data. You collect the data and then understand the patterns within data, which we call it as insights. The patterns could be like what is the trends, what are the anomalies or like odd scenarios within that patterns of data, and try to interpret if this is the historical pattern, what could be the next prediction or next forecast. That's where you do the prediction. So basically, collect the data, understand the patterns, and then derive the insights. And once you derive the insights, that's where it will give you the power of making a decision and performing an action. So this is the core piece of making a decision based on data and understanding the patterns. If you can do that in a repetitive manner, that means basically you add automation to that, you would have actually enabled an AI scenario. So you can probably leverage this kind of simple definition in the context of in your domain or in your space to explain AI to anyone. With that, let us see the examples of how we are surrounded by various AI scenarios as on today. I mean, we are not talking about future. As on today itself, we are seeing tremendous amount of applications, tremendous amount of things which are operating on the context with AI around us. So, I'm sure you are a lot of you are familiar with Alexa, a smart like NLP device which will answer based on your queries. It's a classic implementation of a of a simple device which uses the power of computing, power of natural language processing, power of data assimilation, and giving you the answers. So, and if you look at like Facebook or any social media kind of sites, people tagging that uses tremendous amount of facial recognition to tag people. If you are using your Office 365, all the latest suite of Word, PowerPoints, they use a lot of AI behind small uh, microservices based on the artificial intelligence that gives you power of right template, right graphics, right formatting, and all that sort. And if you look at your shopping cart in an Amazon, based on what you purchase, the recommendation which you get, it is given by AI. And the ultimate kind of extension of those technologies uh, is basically the smart cars, which like a lot of companies are investing to develop. Google and Tesla are leading in that space, or to some extent, in a very, very simple manner, finding the right route to your office or to your destination. That is a lot of AI behind. And to my surprise, as we are hosting the talk today I was checking out a newspaper, and in the newspaper there is a small piece of information how many smart solutions are out there, especially dealing with COVID crisis. Bunch of AI technologies behind various applications to help the people to fight this battle on the disease. So in a way, actually, it is not like future we are talking. We are already in the game of AI. And no matter what, this is going to basically impact every one of us in every aspect of life as we step forward into the future. Now let's look at key building blocks when you are trying to approach AI solution. So the crux piece here, as we talked earlier, it is about collecting the data, and once you collect the data, it doesn't have any value unless it results in certain action. So a data converted into an action is what is the building blocks to start with. So if we relate to the present situation of what's happening with respect to the COVID-19 and coronavirus spread, every day we are seeing the tons of information of how many people have been detected with virus, how many have been tested, what is the mortality rate, how it is spreading. What do you call that information? That information is actually the first step. Uh, Sorry, I'm seeing a little bit of lag in my screen. Okay. So all the information which you are seeing day in, day out through newspapers, through news channels, and WHO reports, all is like basically the business intelligence reports. So when you say BI or business intelligence, what you are specifically targeting is to answer two questions. One is what has happened. So basically, it is on the historical facts or the information that has already happened. So what you are trying to answer the question, what has happened, and then also why did it happen? Is it because, I mean, in case of COVID situation, why did it happen? Could be, is it like people are traveling, they got in touch with the people who are already infected or the frontline workers? So all these kinds of information, when you're trying to answer, you are actually stepping into a business intelligence space. And what do you do with that business intelligence is you basically analyze these reports and then you put your human intelligence through manual process and make decisions, which is nothing but resulting in action. Once you are in that stage of business intelligence, then you basically move into a next stage called advanced analytics and AI. So extending the same scenario, how does this COVID-19 is going to impact? What could be the patterns in case of social distancing, how it is impacting us, how we can see the flattening of the curve, and what kind of impact on economics, what kind of impact on manufacturing, in fact, what kind of impact on GDP. These are like big questions, right? So these questions, when you try to answer by assimilating all these different sets of information in terms of predictions, in terms of recommendations, is where you are actually stepping into the zone of the key block of enabling advanced analytics with artificial intelligence. And when you have these predictions and recommendations in your hand, you basically integrate that with your business process within your enterprise. Uh, and if you enable that system to make those decisions into an action through a seamless process, that's where you have enabled automation. That is when you are like truly into the space of artificial intelligence driven organization. So remember, basically everything starts with the data, and then first step is trying to understand the patterns within the data, which is business intelligence, and then elevating and maturing from there to an advanced analytics and AI. So these are the key blocks. And if you really see how the process of manual intervention happen as you mature from BI to AI, the machines will be capable, the systems will be capable of making the decisions on their own. So the manual intervention can be reduced. And when you truly automated every end-to-end process, that's when like it is like a self-driven, self-learning machine. So now let's look at what are the key drivers to for an artificial intelligence. Fundamentally, the three aspects. In fact, AI is not new. It has been there from last like 60, 70 years. But today we are talking and we are able to see these applications in various forms surrounding us is because of three things. AI requires tremendous computing power to crunch those all that information into a something usable actions, and that can only happen through cloud technology. And data, as assimilation of data through various sources, is the key building block. So today we have unlimited storage capability through cloud-based technology. So this is the second driver. And third is evolution of algorithms, where the mathematical algorithms, the complex algorithms can be processed through this computing power and then publish them as a seamless services that can be consumed everywhere, be it on desktop, be it on mobiles, be it on net. So the power of combining all these three drivers, cloud, data, and algorithm, is what actually driving the AI transformations today across various industries and enterprises. Let's look at a couple of market trends here. I was checking on actually the McKinsey report recently. Very, very interesting kind of forecast there. What they say is the way the artificial intelligence has been discussed and has been part of the strategy within various enterprises. Based on the trend, the front runners who are actually going to get onto this transformational journey of enabling their enterprise through AI, they will have almost 122% of their bottom line revenue profitability in the next 5 to 7 years. And if an enterprise is just noting down on this transformation trends, but actually moving at a snail pace, they may survive, but their profitability will be very, very close to like 10 to 20% at max. And if somebody is not actually making a note of this and then like skip this wave, probably they may not able to survive the wave. In fact, there was also a report on how many industries or domains this transformation journey is going to impact. I don't want to drain all the listed items here, but literally, if you see every aspect, be it travel, be it agriculture, banking, healthcare, telecommunication, every aspect of that is going to get impacted with this transformation journey. And there was a bold statement made as a part of the prediction is by 2030, at least 70 to 80% of the companies will have at least one line of their business completely run through an AI engine. So pretty significant kind of transformation we all going to face in every aspect, and especially given this crisis situation where the technology has been challenged, like connecting with 200 people physically would have been a monumental task, but today using this web kind of a hosting, we are able to connect to more than 200, 500,000 people and ability to connect and move forward. So this transformation is only going to get accelerated rather than get delayed. So that is for sure, and that is a key driver for all of us to get tuned and start basically lead this journey in terms of transformation. And you can find more insights from McKinsey on this page. So, just in late 1900s and early 20th century, we have seen a tremendous transformation through industrial revolution, where machines were automating everything, factories were getting updated with new machinery, and it was an industrial revolution. And today we are in the crux of that revolution. We are surrounded by intelligent systems. So intelligent revolution is where we are triggering, and we are all part of it. So whether you talk to any C-level executives, CEOs, CIOs, CXOs, uh, it is interesting to see all C-level executives, including the COVID, which starts with C, is also talking about AI today. And academia, millennials, it's a topic which is impacting everyone, and with increasing computing power, including storage, including network connectivity, there is more acceleration towards this, and for sure we are all surrounded with that. So, and this is kind of a quick landscape of how different companies are investing on their technologies to bring some or major parts of their enterprises with the AI revolution. I just captured the major companies here, but no matter what, there are tons and tons of startups, very smart startups, working on a very core piece of technologies and providing those services broadly across the world. Now, with that transformation impacting everyone, if you go and talk to any enterprise, whether enterprise leaders or the operational leaders or the marketing leaders within the company, what do you expect, or what is there in their mind? So if you look at like CEOs, they wanted more engaged employees, they wanted more satisfied customers, they want to increase the customer experience. If you go to your CTOs, they will be looking at efficiency, growth, and innovation, balancing both so that they can transform the whole business into a uh, digital business. If you go to marketing, they will be looking at how to be a market leader, how to get faster to the market, what is the go-to-market strategy for them. And these are all important questions, but the question is how fast you can enable it. And how do you really enable it is the key question one has to answer. So let's understand the process. What does enabling AI mean? Without getting into all those smaller blocks within the slide, there are fundamentally the two things. One is building the intelligence, and automating that intelligence is what AI enablement means. And when you say building an intelligence, for example, let's say you're trying to build a weather prediction system, or how does, I mean, as of yesterday, I was reading kind of a weather analysis, how fast the monsoon will come to southern states in India. So if you want to build or attack such kind of a problem and provide the predictions on that, first you will collect weather information, historical weather information, what happened on this day, last week, last month, last year, 10 years before, and then assimilate all that information, and you start training your machine learning models to through some supervised learning, which is like you understand the patterns, through reinforced learning, basically you submit certain rules, and through unsupervised learning, where you just throw set of information towards the machine to basically identify the patterns within that. And once you do that and crunch all those information, then slowly the patterns emerge and you can see the predictions out of that data in terms of what could be the possible time frame of monsoons to occur, what is the probability to occur, and all those aspects. And once you have that, take that service of prediction, put into an application or put into a chatbot or put into your desktop or put into your reports through various formats in various systems within your enterprise, and then start consuming that. So the two-step process, the data collection, building the intelligence, and then automating and deploying it. So these are all the different aspects to enable AI mean. So these are the fundamental things which you can explain to anyone saying that this is how you approach it. But then immediately, uh, time and again, when I was explaining this concept, I've been with Microsoft from last like 14 years and within the AI space from last 5 years, and got an opportunity to host a lot of customer sessions. And in each of those customer sessions, sometimes they span for a couple of hours, sometimes they span for a couple of days. What happened is, while you run all these concepts and other things, when you take a break and come out to have a coffee or have a little bit of a, walk to relax, that's when actually the people ask, the customers and C-level executives and top decision makers ask, all that concepts is fine, but where do we start? Where do I get the data? Where do I store the data? Who are the right people in my enterprise? I should enable them. And how do I measure the success of this? Is there a sequential process for this, or is there a logical process for this? So, and time and again, I realized that the kind of response and the kind of clarity which you drive through those conversations are going to be the key differentiator whether the deal is getting closed or deal is going to get rejected, or whether they are tending towards actually a realistic project to happen, or it is ending with another meeting. And I started basically making the observations and notes, and then realized there is a method to this madness, how to go about it. And it so happened when I try to lay out, there are like 7 distinct steps one can actually capture it. It is not 6, neither it is 8. Because when I try to iterate these steps in various formats, what I realized is 6 is underdone and 8 is like over engineered. And when I say the 7 steps, there is a logical process of how to build, enable AI within an enterprise. There are milestones within those steps where you can celebrate the success, and you can measure how you are proceeding with your progress to enabling AI. And and then how do we really like drive towards an intelligent driven organization? We're going to quickly see each of the steps, but precisely all that notes which I captured and all that interactions which I had is actually assimilated into the 7 steps, and this is precisely what I try to capture in my book, which is released recently as 7 Sense AI. So, what this book captures, it's not a very exhaustive book. It is not going to teach you machine learning. It is not going to teach you any business architecture taxonomies. It is going to guide you step-by-step approach in each of these spaces with a 3C concept. 3C concept, what I mean by that is, first is it will give you a simple, crisp concept of what does a data machine mean, what does a data platform building mean, and then it will basically have set of questions in each step of relating to the context of your business. And once you answer those questions, it will help you to create the blueprint for your AI enablement. So let's look at each of these steps quickly, and then we can take some questions. Or Aditya, do you want to see if there are any questions so far?
None that I see, but I request everybody to kind of post their and then we can take it in the end.
Okay. Okay.
I don't want to open up the audio at this point. Please go ahead, Surendra.
Thank you. Okay. So the first step towards your mission to build AI enterprise is actually recognizing that data within your enterprise is the most important asset, and that has to happen. That messaging that data is the most important asset. It's a new gold mine for your enterprise. Has to start both from top up, top down, and bottom up. When I say top down, is the leadership team has to basically drive the grand vision that no matter what, which division, which business unit they are, please key focus on the data which you're dealing with, be it a customer data, with the operational data, be it kind of outages or the operations. So through leadership team, drive the grand vision across the enterprise. And then bottom up approach, empower the operations team within your enterprise that whatever information they're collecting, that is a real important gold mine, and start basically collecting that both in terms of the quality and the frequency and number of dimensions within the data. So time and again, what happens is this is like a very realistic experience. Whenever we approach customers in various domains, when they come up okay with a simple question saying that okay, we are hearing about all this artificial intelligence, we want to really try that out within our enterprise. Can you help us out? And when we ask like what kind of information you have, for example, I was dealing with predictive maintenance for the ticket checking machines or ticket vending machines in metros. And they say that we have a lot of data. I mean, if you talk to Japanese customers, they have been operating metros for many years, or to in states, or even in India, in like Bangalore and Delhi, where the metros have been there. They say they will have a lot of data. And when you actually sit and try to analyze, what happens is because that was not considered a key asset, there will be a lot of gaps. There are missing values, the quality of data is not in place. So, which basically beats the purpose because the bad data will give you bad results and bad predictions. So the two aspects, the from CEO, CXO, and CTO, they as a leadership team drive the mission that data is our gold mine and enable that kind of joint vision and mission across the enterprise. That's the first step. And from there on, once that vision has been set, you are into the journey of building your first milestone of building a comprehensive data platform. And usually, if you look at any enterprise, be it small or large, there are data islands where different groups have their own servers, their own infrastructure, and they will have their own information stored in their servers. One has to figure it out, building the bridges across these different landscapes, which will be foundation of your data platform. So engage your data engineers, engage your DBAs, engage your operational people, be it legacy data coming from your database systems, open source databases. In case of manufacturing, be it IoT data, sensors, event triggers. If it is a media company, be it a voice, video, text. If it is kind of social social company like Facebook, the social feeds, the photographs, the unstructured information, And if you are like Twitter kind of thing, what is the live feeds that are happening? All that information you should be able to assimilate and have the bridges to connect to each of those data landscapes. And that's when you would have built a comprehensive data platform. And all this information is in various formats. Some are structured, some are unstructured, some are voice, some are video. So your data platform has to basically meet different technology needs of these different formats of the data. And that is your step two. And if you have established the data platform, actually that's a big milestone for celebration, that you have actually have a place to go and then say that this is my data platform, this is where I can actually build my information, extract the information. And once you build that step two of data platform, then next step is augmenting that data with the data. So that is basically the metadata. So what I mean by that is having the information or intelligence of what is the information you have. Is it personally identifiable, secure information? Or does it represent an entity? Does it represent a system within your company? And what is the data catalog? Where is the data coming from? And who is using it? All the data discovery has to happen. And data engineers play a very key role. And in case of hybrid data like voice, video, image information, for example, if you are trying to build an intelligent traffic management system, you should tell the system what is the difference between a car and a two-wheeler and a truck. So for that to happen, you need to label that information with various various aspects. Sometimes you can use them using manual labeling. Sometimes you can run some exploratory analysis. In case of textual documents, you can use parts of speech for your natural language processing. The data scientists, domain experts are the key aspects in terms of tagging this information. So you have data platform and you are tag the information. Now you are actually enriching the whole information for consumption as you move forward. And once you do that, then you are up to your second milestone, very powerful feature. Since you have the platform, you have enriched that information. Now you can enable the search within the enterprise. And search can happen in multiple segments. It can happen through simple word search, where you can match the closest word to the search criteria which you have given, or it can happen through a structured search, where you are combining different search parameters to build a query and look through that information and extract the insights. Or third and most powerful is hybrid search, where you can do kind of fuzzy logic within your search capability to extract the information. And once you enable this, look at the power, like where with respect to any business process, any business entity, you have capability to search through entire enterprise. A very powerful feature. And that's when you have actually reached your second milestone in your journey. And if somebody, I mean, I laid out the 7 steps, it need not be always organic and structured from step 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. If some companies are very tech savvy and enabled a pretty good data platform, have the bridges built in, and have the capability, then they're actually starting from step 4. And from there, once you have your search capability, that's where you are in the journey of building the brain within your enterprise. When I say building the brain, there are three entities that comes into the picture, into this segment. One I call it as a decision science. Very important uh, uh, people here. Basically, these are the people of your domain experts, your business stakeholders, your field teams, who basically tell you what is the focus of the company, what does good looks like, what is the success of the company. So that's why I call them as a decision science. Very important. Once they set the focus and the north star for your company, this is the area where we wanted to see more productivity, more opportunities. Then the next step is That will go to the data science, where the data science team is a team of experts who basically look through descriptive analytics of this data and then start together your machine learning algorithms to do predictive and prescriptive forecast within that enterprise. And they test this through hypothesis using various parameters and various patterns within the information which they will be provided. And once they see that a fair good amount of maturity has been reached on the machine learning model, then the data engineering team comes into the picture, where the data engineering team will take that model which has been built from the data science team into the production, and they create the pipeline to monitor those services so that you can constantly learning if the predictions are close to reality, or if there are anomalies where it is deviating from reality. Very information in case of an enterprise driven by AI, because you have to constantly learn, unlike your traditional application system and database systems where you develop for the requirement and deploy, and then you just get into kind of a maintenance mode. In case of AI system, it's an eternal perpetual life cycle of learning. And and one of the important aspect when you are actually getting into this transformation journey is, don't try to boil the ocean of completely transforming your enterprise. Start with small steps. Get the small set of right team, set the business context using the decision science team, and identify the key pockets where you can really showcase the efficiency of achieving the results, be it a forecasting or decision automation or operational efficiency. Try to set a good boundary condition of where you want to accomplish and try out this experiment. And always have a clear business impact what between how and what, previous and present, how it has changed, and you should be able to measure whether be it like it is creating new business leads, or whether be it kind of saving all your operational expenses. This is the key aspects of your analytics engine. And once you build the analytics engine, still you are not there yet to run the enterprise. The final step, the next step, not the final step, the next step once you build the analytics is connecting different entities within the business. Very important concept here, because as a human being, there is a saying that we can relate up to 6 to 7 entities at a time. But once number of entities grow beyond 7, then a human mind cannot efficiently comprehend the impact of it. That's where your machine learning models and the cloud computing and AI technologies will come in handy to find out, okay, if I change this parameter, if I transform my decision making power to the system, who all it's going to impact within your enterprise. Fundamentally, it's going to impact people, process, and tools. So establish how this impact is going to propagate across the organization. What is the change management process for that? How do you educate the people? How do you drive the adoption of these systems? So building the graph within your enterprise is the most important aspect to really drive this transformation towards an intelligent enterprise. So you basically identify the roles within the business process who are all operating within that, and what are the business entities or business outcomes they are going to impact, where are they located, what is their accessibility, how are they going to really interface with the system. All these aspects have to be taken into consideration, and that's where you build a graph. And once you build a graph, you come a long way with all these 6 steps, and you are the final step. That's where you have really reached the crux of the summit of an intelligent driven enterprise, where all the information across your enterprise, be it triggers, be it batch, or be it real time, you have created your AI services and you have published your AI services for consumption. And that consumption has to be, and there are various modes to make it very seamless. You can publish as an API where other business systems can consume it. You can create applications within your enterprise for personal to use. be it on dashboards or mobiles, or be it kind of chatbots. One of the interesting pieces is if you take chatbots and combine them with this AI services, the chatbot interface will always remain constant, but it will constantly learn and become intelligent enough to really reach that human parity. And once you publish this model, then you need to enable your monitoring systems to constantly watch what's happening and understand the anomalies where the predictions are going wrong or model accuracy is drifting. And once you see a threshold has been reached where the model is drifting and predictions are deviating from reality, that's where you do enable your model management and then start improving or retraining your model with the new sets of data which you have captured, which is nothing but improving the probabilities of your prediction and then redeploy the model. So this is a constant cycle, and this has to happen seamlessly within your enterprise, so that you are always kind of enhancing the capability of your decision making and then driving the enterprise as a whole. So this is basically the grand summit of celebrating an intelligent driven enterprise. So this is actually the 7 steps which the book talks about. And when you actually pick up that book and see, you can get this book through Amazon, Flipkart. Unfortunately, because of this COVID situation, a lot of physical publications have been stopped, but Kindle version is definitely available. And precisely what this book talks about is all the 7 steps, giving you the concept in much more detail, and then it will basically give you a set of questions where you can relate to you, the context of your business. And when once you answer those questions, there are a couple of diagrams within those book I captured. And by end of the 7 steps, what you will have is a complete blueprint, or you can say business architecture or your solution architecture to start your journey. You can give that to your developers, your engineering people to start actually implementing them, selecting the right technology, and start moving towards that direction. Okay. So with that, we can open up certain questions and then wrap up the session.
Surendra, there are about already 7 questions. I just put you on the chat.
Okay.
Maybe you can just read the question and the person and then answer them. I think, yeah, please go ahead. Thank you. Let me know if you're able to see those queries.
So,
On WebEx itself. There's a chat next to the participant. Or if you can't see this, I can WhatsApp you. Is that better?
no, it's okay. I'm trying to figure it out how to get the chat window.
Just there, if you go to the bottom, you will see the chat, the blue box there, right? Uh, just if you
Okay, okay, got it, got it.
perfect. There are, yeah.
Exit out. So,
If you can read out the question and also,
sure, sure, we'll do that.
yeah, answer them. Thank you.
Okay, so it's the first question. Is it wise to launch BTech program on artificial intelligence by academic institute? If yes, how long these undergraduates will be employable? This is question from E.H. Venkaya. Great question. The important thing here is artificial intelligence is not kind of a science by itself. I mean, it is actually a technology or an approach to enable any domain towards a better outcome in terms of productivity, in terms of opportunity. So what it is my kind of recommendation or my kind of feeler here is, instead of having an artificial intelligence as a BTech program, artificial intelligence as one of the important electives, important subject within any domain is going to make a lot of difference, and that is going to really help out every student out there. Because once if somebody graduates with just algorithmic knowledge on artificial intelligence without domain knowledge, again, it will not be of much benefit because the domain and technology has to come in tandem here. And that's my feeling. I mean, I strongly feel that artificial intelligence has to be one of the key segments or the key topics within their coursework. In the country of ours, in mostly unstructured and poor in quality and scattered across different systems, so how prepared are we to enable AI in those sectors for X healthcare or manufacturing? So this question is from Chandra. Chandra, actually, the reality is that this problem is prevalent across any country, not just India. Uh, the quality of data and amount of information, that's a big problem across any enterprise or any country. But the question is, you need to choose the right domain where you already have certain capability. For example, if you look at our India itself, the demographic information to large extent after like Aadhaar rollout and having e-filing on income tax, that kind of information is fairly good quality right now, of last couple of years. And that is the information which you can definitely start with. On healthcare, very important segment, but at the same time, whenever you are talking about healthcare and applying a machine learning or an AI, it is very, very tough because people are scared. The healthcare comes to close to the human life, and anything with human life will always be viewed with lot of suspicion. So for healthcare, it might take more time to really bring AI systems into production, but you can almost like start with surrounding systems in terms of managing the number of patients coming into the hospital and how the follow-ups are happening, scheduling their systems, the surround systems, except the actual doctor and patient interaction, all the surrounding systems, AI can help a lot in terms of seamlessly making the systems easier to use, easier to operate. Manufacturing, again, very good area. A lot of investments and thought process is going into picture. Here, let me give you an important insight here. When you say manufacturing, the industries which are into this space would have established at least like 30, 40 years back. At that time, the systems may not have all the intelligence sensors built in. So there is a lot of opportunity for hardware and software professionals to team up here, build those external plug-in sensor systems to tap the data and start building your AI intelligence based on that. Very, very good opportunity for a lot of startups out there. Please post your question. Okay, do share the presentation. Sure, I think we will do that. Your prediction is that by 2030, 70%. That's not my prediction, by the way. It's a prediction by McKinsey. So, yeah, I mean, various segments are part of that prediction. And when I say various segments, literally every segment is covered as a part of it. It's not just for high-end, high turnover companies. Even a small company who, for example, a small audit company which has a NLP based system, crunch through all the contract documents and tell which are the documents which are going to expire in next 3 months, with like only 2 auditors sitting in the company, are much more productive than a very large company with 2000 to 3000 auditors crunching through pile of 10,000 contract documents manually. Agree that using AI will solve most. Next question, sorry, Sai Kishore. Using AI will solve most of the problems and make things easier, but is it possible that AI can turn against humans if we take AI into extreme level in future, like using in robotics as seen in movies? Yeah, I mean, fictions become reality, but in that fictional movies, if you take Terminator or if you take Avenger, there are people who built their capabilities to those systems. And how did they do that? Through ethical principles, the core aspect of doing good, which is inherent in every one of us, is something which we need to be cognizant about. While you build the intelligence, you also build the intelligence of your legal systems, intelligence of your ethical systems, and then superimpose them so that you create a better future. Yeah, I mean, there is a famous saying from Spider-Man movie, right? Like great power comes with great responsibility, which is applicable to AI as well. Can you please, another question from Bala Subramanian, can you please say something about seven or some basic steps involved for predicting the flattening of COVID spread curve? Predicting and flattening. So, I mean, I don't want to get into a lot of algorithmic thing here. We can have a separate offline discussion on that. But fundamentally, the classification and regression is going to help you a lot in terms of this forecast. That's what actually a lot of systems are companies are using to predict the COVID situation. Sir, next one is Arvind. Using the AI will have a huge impact on employment, but will the usage of AI be sustainable and will it be able to support in enhancing the employment opportunities? Fantastic question. Actually, this kind of questions brews on everybody whenever we talk about AI. So let me give you a very simple answer. AI is not going to replace humans. It is humans who are going to use AI to replace the humans who are not going to use AI. So approach the opportunities with that angle, and definitely enterprise can survive there. From the host, is it wise to launch BTech? Okay, I think we answered that. How to measure the
That was my collated list. There's
okay.
one more question from where it says, along with Seven Sense, any must-read books recommendation for business leaders? Having worked with Whistle Drive team before, where do you think AI would have strong use cases with respect to transportations or logistics?
Fantastic. Okay. Uh, so this book which I created, I mean, this is not a technology heavy book. It is kind of a strategy book for any enterprise, for any domain. So the Visual Guide, who are into the transportation business, and I've been interacting with a couple of their teams. So they can use the strategy, and once they lay out the strategy of how do you enhance the customer experience, what are the opportunities? One of the key segments there is okay, you have metros to transport people, but what about last mile connectivity of reaching the metro station or picking up a person from that metro station to their home? What is that last mile connectivity and how you can optimize that? These are the great problems to solve. Can you suggest few tools for academicians who want to work in this area? Few tools for academicians? Yeah, I mean, there are tons of tools out there and which are constantly evolving. But in terms of languages, in an academic space, R has been prevalent, and in terms of enterprises, Python is the starting technology. But nowadays, you are seeing lot of pluggable services. Like for example, if you wanted to do an image recognition or a video processing using AI system, you don't have to build from ground up. You can always plug it into some of the ready-made services, cognitive services published by various big companies. You can plug in, submit your data, and get the prediction results, and then applying it into your business space. How does AI tackle Siddha Reddy? How does AI tackle interoperability issues? Will it be used in military and intelligence? Is it possible to protect security area? Absolutely. The most essential aspect of here is how do you protect the data? So when you are talking about security and privacy, the important aspect of that is, are you using very biased data? So, for example, we face this issue in a couple of spaces where we wanted to detect fraud across various ATMs that has been happening. And if you when you are actually looking at the system, how do you detect the fraud? It's a very tricky situation. If somebody is taking uh, small amounts of data multiple times, will it be termed as a fraud? Or somebody is taking huge amount of amount on a single instance, is it a fraud? So for that to happen, you need to really look at the patterns of the transactions and the profile of the person, the demographics of that area, all that aspect. But when you are doing that, you cannot actually expose the data and publish the data. So your data platform is going to be very important. How do you protect? And in terms of privacy, the key aspect is no matter what kind of intelligence system you are building, protecting the dignity of the person who are already within the company who is going to operate in terms of skill set, his or her skill set, capability should not be compromised. And there are ethical principles which every company is putting together, and that is a good reference to start with.
Um,
UPIT or
I have
sorry.
two questions here, Surendra. Maybe the last two questions, because in the interest of time, uh, I'll probably combine and you can answer them together. One question is food and beverage industry. Where do we apply AI? One question.
Mhm.
Another one is interesting where somebody says he's working with supporting railways in predictive maintenance
Okay.
for signaling assets. How can we start using machine learning and AI technologies where we have existing input diagnostic data, say 1 lakh events coming in from data logging services,
Mhm.
predict the probability of a potential asset failure? So
Okay.
both food and industry and predictive intelligence, I think there are some questions around that. Maybe you can summarize
Sure.
those two
That's
together.
so. Very good question. And in fact, in the food and beverage industry, what's happening is in terms of the process quality, the food and beverages has a lot of strict adherence to the process of how do you manufacture. Like, let's take a simple kind of, not a simple, but like ketchup manufacturing. And if somebody wanted to release a new flavor of ketchup, the whole process has to be re-engineered in terms of composition, in terms of bill of material, in terms of how do you really make that product. Uh, so there is a lot of sensor information, the expert information, expert insights happen there. So there is an interesting experiment and also a lot of good progress has been done that when you are manufacturing these products, uh, there is a lot of AI models to see what is the optimal percentage of mixing these different formulations to arrive a quality product. So a lot of microservices have been developed already here. A lot of big companies are already operating in that space. From the railway, it is pretty simple. When you have 1 lakh amount of data with your tracking system, I think you can very easily start with your business intelligence and take it from there. And we can please reach out, drop some questions in that space. I can always suggest you how to start the journey in that space. So with that, actually, let me quickly rest of the questions. So feel free to reach me out, and then I wanted to basically acknowledge the great work done by the IEEE TEMS team, Aditya, Krishna, Shashi, Ramya. Uh, brilliant set of people to make this session happen. In fact, it takes probably a 7 steps to enable AI, but for me, it just took 2 steps of giving a topic and the context for these guys to make this session happen. They're much more brilliant than AI systems.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, thanks, Surendra. Really, no, I mean, this was a fantastic session, and in fact, the Q&A session. I mean, there are multiple questions. What I'll do is probably kind of collate them. Sorry, I apologize. We are not able to take more than these questions at this point of time. But again, just to reiterate, thank you, Surendra, for your time.
No problem.
We
Actually, I mean, thanks to all of you for taking the time and attending this session. Thanks to all my partners who have been part of this journey. And here I mentioned my email and blog and LinkedIn. Feel free to reach
fantastic.
out to me. Okay.
Oh, sure. I mean, people can reach out to you directly then. That makes it even more easy to answer that query. But before I close out, I request each one of you to kindly provide your feedback. This will help us improve things. I'm just kind of pinging the link. I've already pinged the link before, but there is a small link. It's going to take less than 30 seconds for you to really answer and provide your feedback. I would really appreciate, and I thank each one of you, all the volunteers, for having participated in this event. And I look forward to seeing you. And just to alert you all, we are doing 2 events every week, literally at this point of time. So please watch out this space. We will reach out to you to have many more such fantastic events. So thank you on behalf of IEEE and IEEE TEMS chapter. Have a good day and please stay safe.
Hey, and Surendra, this is Krishna. Fantastic session, very insightful. So thank you for doing this, and also congratulations on the book launch. I know the Kindle version is available for the 7 Steps in AI, so I'll be sure to grab a copy of that. So thank you very much for carving the time and doing this. And for everybody else, I think, like Aditya mentioned, we have our next session on leading at scale coming up on the coming Tuesday. So if you haven't already registered, then you can check that out on our LinkedIn page or the IEEE portal, and you should be able to register yourself. All right, over to the feedback.
Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. Have a good day. Thanks, Krishna.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.